for the first question here, okay, at 7:50 a.m. after 1 hours and 25 minutes, so I added 125 into it, I get 0875. Then I convert the minutes, okay, since it is more than 60, and I add 1 into hours and minus 60 off. So the final result should be 0915. As for part 2, the average speed, this one will be distance over time. The distance is given at 92, whereby for the time it's 1 hours and 25 minutes. So do take note that you are required to change the minutes into hour format. Hence I written 92 over 125 over 60. So your final results will actually be 64.9. Whereby for section 3, okay, so you stop for 10 minutes as a percentage of 1 hours and 25 minutes. So to make my calculation easier, I actually convert the minutes into hour. Okay, so I took 10 over 60 divided by 125 over 60. Then I multiply it by 100 to get it as percentage. After correcting it to 3 significant figures, I get the results as 11.8. Whereby for part 4, 92 kilometers is 15% more than distance from C town to D city. So C town times 115% equals to 92. C town's distance will be 80 kilometers after the calculation. As for section B, part 1, first thing that I did was to calculate the total ratio. Simply by adding 11, 16 and 3 up, you get it as 30. So 150 times 3 over 30, you get the results as 15, requested by the question. The family buys 2 gifts. The first gift costs $8.25, okay, which means that the second gift, okay, it is actually 15 minus 8.25. You get it as 6.75. So to get the simplest form ratio, simply takes 8.25 divided by 6.75. You will get your final result as 11.9. For question 2, part A, draw the translation of x after the vector of -11, -1. So the -11 indicates that the object moved 11 steps to the left, okay, and 1 step down from the y-axis. So I label it over there as x image. Whereby for part 2, draw the enlargement of triangle y with a scale factor of half from the point -6, -4. This one will actually shrinken the y into y image. As for question 5, triangle X to triangle Z, this one will actually be a reflection from the line y equals to 1. Whereby for the next one, triangle X onto triangle Y, this is actually an enlargement from the point 3, 2 with a scale factor of -1, because there's no changes to the size of the shape. It just simply gotten inverted. Part 3 and C is actually excluded from the syllabus, so I won't be covering it. It is actually the Sears topic from transformation. Question 3, okay, it was given that the volume of 1080 and a mass of 8 kg. Calculate the mass of 1 cubic meters of the metal. So I took 8 kg, convert it into gram, I get 8,000. So 8000 divided by 1080, you get the results as 7.41 gram. As for the next part, the base of the cuboid measured 12 by 10, identify the height. So height times 12 times 10 will get you 1080. After the calculation, you will get your height as 9 centimeters. As for C part 1, the cuboid was melted down. Okay, so 4 over 3 pi r cubed equals to 1080. So calculate the r by shifting the 4 over 3 pi to the other side. After the calculation, you will get your results as 6.36. As for you to calculate the surface area of the sphere, by substituting the r value that you gotten earlier into the formula given, correcting it to 3 significant figures, you get your results as 508. As for part D, the large sphere has a radius of r cm. The surface area of the sphere is double the surface area of the sphere with radius r cm in part C, which means that this 4 pi r square now equals to 508 times 2. So your new radius will actually be 8.99 after the calculation. So take the bigger radius, divide by the smaller one, you will get your results as 1.41. Part 4, simply substitute the -1 and 1 into the function x position. You will get your results as 5 and -1 respectively. I then proceed to draw out the following graph. After you have drawn it down, now you are required to solve when function f equals to 4. This indicates that you are required to find the value of x when y equals to 4. So when y equals to 4, I trace it back, it is actually 0.55 at the x part. Whereby for fx equals to 3x, this one simply indicates that you're having a new equation that goes by y equals to 3x. So by substituting 1 and 2 into x position, I get my respective y as 3, 6. I then proceed with drawing the line over there, and the interception would actually be 0.7. So for section D, since it was given that fx equals to 3x, I then calculate and change up the function into 2 over x squared minus 3x equals to 3x. After the calculation, I gotten my results of x cubed as 1 over 3. So the details calculation is being shown over there. As for the next part, draw the straight line through the point -1 and -1, 5 and 3, -9. Okay, after I drew that down, find the equation of this particular line by using the gradient formula. I gotten the gradient as -3.5, so y equals to -3.5x plus c. I then proceed by substituting -1, 5 into the equation x and y's position. My c will actually be 1.5. Hence, substitute these two information, I gotten my y as -3.5 plus 1.5. So complete the statement. Okay, this one will actually be a tangent line to the graph. So the question 5 part A, the key information is actually hidden in the term that goes by the cost of 1 bottle of lemonade is 0.25 more than the cost of 1 bottle of water. So when your border is x, your lemonade price would go by x plus 0.25. So by substituting 2 times x plus 3 bracket x plus 0.25, your cost will be 3.6. So after the calculation, you will get your final answer. As for section B, okay, first thing first, the area of the rectangle there, x times y will get you 5, whereby for the next one, y times x plus 2 will get you 6. So my y will actually be 5 over x, whereby for the bigger y, it will be 6 over x plus 2. So y plus big Y equals to 1 will get you the information 5 over x plus 6 over x plus 2 equals to 1. By running the calculation, you will be able to prove that x squared minus 9x minus 10 equals to 0. After I factorize it, I will get 2 brackets, which goes by x minus 10, x plus 1. And for you to calculate the perimeter, you are required to take when your x equals to 10 centimeters. So for you to calculate the first triangle, simply takes 5 divided by 10, you will get 1 over 2. So the perimeter will be 10 plus 10 plus half, which is 21. As for section C here, okay, the right angle has a side of the following. Okay, so using Pythagoras Theorem, you will know that 2x plus 3 bracket square equals to x plus 3 bracket square plus 5 square. After the rearrangement, you should be able to prove that 3x squared plus 6x minus 25 as the results. So for the next part, I will be using quadratic formula. So A will be 3, B will be 6, and C will be negative 25. So by substituting it into the quadratic formula, negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, you will get the final results as negative 4.06 and 2.06 respectively. So you are required to use the positive results because for distance it cannot be negative. So half times 5 times 5.06, you get your final results as 12.65 centimeter squared. As for question 6, okay, show that ABC is actually 40.5 degree. So half AB sine C will get you the area of the triangle as 130. So by running the reverse calculation, you will get your final result as 40.5. As for you to calculate length of AC, the formula that I use over there is actually the cosine rule formula. Substitute the variables 16, 25 and the angle of 40.5 in the respective place. You should be able to prove that your result is 16.5. As for section C, calculate the shortest distance from A to BC. So this will be the triangle that I illustrate over there with the hypotenuse of 16 and the angle of 40.5. So we are looking for the opposite of it. So by using sine 40.5 equals to opposite over 16, you will get our results after the calculation as 10.4. As for question 7, find the probability that both these are numbered 2. And key things to take note is it is a without replacement condition, which means that if you were to select one number, the denominator will decrease for sure. So for our condition here, since both number is 2, hence it will be 2 over 5 times 1 over 4. Both the numerator and denominator will decrease after the first draw. So the final results will be 1 over 10. Find the probability that the numbers has a total of 5. So I listed down all the condition over there. Okay, so I then proceed with the calculation by using the respective probability. So my final results, 3 over 10. Find the probability that numbers of 2 digits does not has a total of 5. This one simply takes 1 over 1 minus the results that we gotten in part 2. You will get your final answer as 7 over 10. As for next part here, key things to take note is that the numbers of E union F and everything other than that is 33. Hence, I first fill out the 33 outside of the circle but inside the rectangle over there. Okay, then the next part here is that the value of E intersect with F, I set it as X. E only will be 15 minus X and F only will be 9 minus X. I add 33, 15 minus X and X, 9 minus X up, it will be equals to 50. Okay, so by shifting and run the calculation, I get my X as 7. Hence, E intersect with F is 7, E only will be 15 minus 7, which is 8, and F only will be 9 minus 7, which is 2. So the part where numbers of E intersect with F, this one will be 7. And for part 2, everything other than E union with F, this one will be 7 plus 2 plus 33, which is 42. And for part 3, a student is chosen at random. Probability that this student has an English parent and a French parent. So keyword here, N, which means the interception, which is 7 over 50. For last part, students who has a French parent is chosen at random. Hence, they actually narrow down. So your denominator here will be 9 only. Whereby, for next part, the probability that this student also has an English parent, which they're referring to the intersection part. So 7 over 9 will be your final answer. Question 8 here, okay. First thing that I identify is actually angle from the same segment, which indicates that BAC equals to BDC is 28, as well as AXB's value as 128, because BD is actually a straight line. Hence, by taking 180 minus 52, you will get AXB's value as 128. So since they're looking for angle of XCD, this one is actually angle from the same segment, which it is also same with ABD. So ABD there, I have already two information of a triangle. So I took 180 minus 128 minus 28. You will get the results as 24. As for part B, first part that I gotten is actually the SPQ's value. This one is actually 11x. Reason being, angle at the circumference is half the angle at the center. Okay, so I gotten that as 11x. Then I proceed to look at RSQP, the quadrilateral over there, by using cyclic quadrilateral formula. The angle of 25x plus 11x will be equal to 180. So by running the manual calculation, I get my x value as 5 after the calculation. As for part C, So first thing that I did there was to calculate the LM's value because it is actually a right angle triangle. Okay, so how do I know that? It's because OL is a radius and LM is a tangent line. Okay, so it will automatically form a 90-degree over there. I'll be using tangent for this calculation because LM is its opposite and 8 cm is its adjacent. So you will get LM's value as 7.73. So half times 8 times 7.73, you will get the area of this right angle as 30.92. As for area of the sector over there, I'll be taking 44 over 360 times pi times 8 square. You will get your results as 24.6. Hence the difference here, 30.92 minus 24.6. Your final results, 6.32. As for question 9, the cumulative frequency graph has been given. So you're required to calculate the median first. So 200 students were actually given at the question. So I take 200 times 50%, you get 100th. So at 100th, okay, the results will be 72. Whereby for the lower quartile, I'll be taking 200 times 25%, you will get 50. So at 50th, the results is 68. The interquartile range here is 200 times 75%, you will get 150th. The results is 76. Whereby for the lower quartile, it is 68 as we've identified earlier. So the difference here will be 76 minus 68 as 8. The numbers of students who took more than 1 hour, okay, this one will be 200 minus 36. Because from 60 we trace it back, it's actually 36. So the total numbers of students will be 164. For us to calculate the mean, first you need to identify the midpoint of the respective group, which goes by 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, and 85. For the frequency part, okay, for 40 to 50, I use the graph to trace it back. This one is actually 20 minus 9. So you will get the results of 11. So multiply the respective frequency with their midpoint, then divide by 200. You will get your results as 69.95. After correcting it to 3 significant figures, you will get 70 as your final answer. As for question 10, okay, so I run manual calculation on every single part of it. Okay, at section A, it is actually arithmetic sequence. Reason being, it is having a constant difference of -2. So your 6 terms will actually be 3 minus 2, which is 1. To construct the nth term for this, we are required to identify the 0 term, which goes by 11 plus 2, which is 13. By combining the 0 term and the common difference, we now have an nth term of 13 minus 2n. But for part B, okay, this is actually a geometric sequence. So I run the comparison for their difference by 2 times. Okay, I double check that the second row is having the same value, which is 2 and 2. I then label some symbol to indicate you which variable that I use in my formula. So the formula actually goes by 2a equals to the square over there with a value of 2, and 3a plus b with 3 variables. Okay, you can see that I indicated a triangle sign over there. And the last part, a plus b plus c equals to 1, which is a star over there. By running the manual calculation, I will get my a as 1 only. For b and c is actually 0, which means that the n term is actually n square, and the 6th term of it will actually be 6 square, which is 36. As for section C, this one is also geometric sequence as well. I repeat the step and I gotten a as 1, b as 1, and c equals to 0. So this indicated that the n term will be n squared plus n, which your results will now change into 42. As for section D, okay, there's no clear ways for you to solve this or formula to be used. You're simply required to compare the relationship between the variables. So based on my comparison, I gotten the n term as 3 to the power of n. So my sixth term will actually 3 to the power of 6, which translates into 729. As for part E, I compare the difference between the variables and notice that it is actually the difference of D and C. So by taking the n term of D, which is 3 to the power of n minus n squared plus n, you will get your results as. So you remember we are required to put a bracket over there so that you don't make any mistakes. Okay, so for sequence A, the 100th term of it, so 12 minus 2 bracket 100, you will get negative 187. As for sequence C, 100 squared plus 100, you will get 10,100. As for part C, the n term is equal to 6,561, 3 to the power of n equals to 6561. So it's actually 3 to the power of 8, hence n is actually 8. Alternatively, I show you method 2 over there by using logarithm, the 3 as the base, the results of 6561 as the log side equals to the power, which is n here. Okay, so n will also get you 8. As for last part, finding the 10th term in sequence E by substituting 3 to the power of 10 minus bracket 10 squared plus 10. So this is pretty much it for this particular paper. If you have friends that are struggling, feel free to share this to them. I wish you all the best for your upcoming examination. Thank you.